Hi everyone, my name is Callie and I did my PowerPoint presentation over bullies and what it does to its victims. And so in my presentation, my second slide, it talks about how 160,000 kids a day do not attend school because of the fear of bullying. And then I had another quote on there that says that children can't get a proper education if they first don't feel comfortable coming to school. And so on my next slide it says, what is a bully? What exactly is a bully? What defines a person or a child or a teenager as being a bully? And so a bully is a person who uses harm and power and strength to intimidate and hurt others. Reasons why bullies are a bully. A lot of them are that they have to feel that power. They are putting other people down because it will make them feel better. It will build up their self-esteem. There could be instances that stuff is happening at home. Bullies need to feel in control. They control the situation, and if people feed into what they're doing, it just makes it even better for them. So, and sometimes, and a lot of times, bullies have a really hard time regulating their emotions. I am a paraprofessional in a special education classroom, and I have done it for 4 years, and when I come across a bully in my classroom, they often have the same stuff happening to them in their personal life. They love to feel the power. A lot of them do have a lot of stuff going home, and a lot of them don't get attention at home, and so they want to feel that attention. They love it. They crave it because they're not getting it at home. So that's another reason. So there are actually 4 main types of bullies. You have physical bullying, you have verbal, social, and then you have, of course, cyberbullying, which is one that's very known when it comes to high school children and even middle school nowadays. So physical bullying is more like hitting and kicking and like physically hurting a person or their property and stuff like that. And then verbal bullying, of course, consists of taunting and rumors and name calling, teasing, trying to ruin the other child's reputation. So there's a lot that goes on there too. Social bullying consists of when they spread rumors. Social bullying often happens in cliques, like with cliques with girls and even cliques with boys. You don't see it very often with boys, but more females. And then, of course, last but not least is cyberbullying. And cyberbullying happens on the internet. It happens through phones and computers and anything that connects you with the internet and cyberbullying. And that's a really big one with kids that are in 9th through 12th grade. So statistics on bullying in schools. When I was doing my research, I found this very interesting and almost sad, because it is really sad. Bullying sucks, and it is not ideal for a child. I was actually bullied in school my middle school years, and I transferred to a new school my freshman year because of this, so it kind of hits home for me a little bit. So I had read that about 28% of students 12 through 18 years report being bullied at school every year. So I think that it's very sad for kids. And so another statistic that I found was the majority of bullying still takes place in school. Children are often bullied at home, either by siblings or parents or like distant family members and things like that, but mostly in school where they're around a bunch of children. And also it says that 1 in 3 U.S. students say they have been bullied at school, so that's pretty big. I continued on with my statistics in my PowerPoint, and it says in 2013 it was reported that an average across 39 states surveyed that 7.2% of students admit to not going to school being bullied. And if children aren't going to school, they're not getting an education, and if they're not getting an education, it's going to be very hard for them later on in life. Also, I found that 70.4% of school staff has seen bullying. I think that's a big deal when a child is being bullied at school. Just from previous experience, I don't think that bullying is taken serious enough in schools. I think that there should be harsher consequences for the person who is the bully. I mean, it affects victims very, very harshly. I mean, that's something kids take with them. I mean, through adult life. I mean, it's very hard. So, effects on victims that are being bullied. Of course, not going to school, stomach aches, shame and anxiety, irritability, aggression, depression. Depression's a big one. When you're being bullied, sometimes you don't even know what you're being bullied for. I mean, girls are so vicious and they become jealous. You know, guys are kind of like happy-go-lucky, but girls, it's more of a competition. She's prettier than me, or she's talking to the guy that I want to talk to. Those are just a few things that I experienced when I was being bullied in middle school. Also, if children are being bullied, sometimes they have a reduced in appetite. They don't want to eat. They don't really want to do anything. And oftentimes, I feel children hide it from their parents at first. They don't feel like coming forward. They almost feel like that either the parent or the teacher or the principal or the family member, whoever it may be, that they aren't going to believe them, that they're making up a story, and so children don't say anything. So I also found something else that was really interesting, and it talks about cyberbullying and suicide statistics. And I found this very interesting. It says that 69% of teens own their own computer, cell phone, and use social media. And then it says 40% of youth report being bullied alone. And then it says on average 60% of text message a day. And then it says girls in the age group of 14 to 16-year-old text may send 100 messages a day. Over 81% of teens admit that bullying is easier to get away with online. I agree with that. You can make an online account that could be anybody. I mean, you could just make up who you are and then they have no idea. But you get those few that do it under their own name and end up getting caught. And then it says that 20% of kids that are cyberbullied think about suicide. I think that 20% should not be 20%. No child should ever have to feel like they don't want to live anymore because of being bullied at school. Life is hard enough, and school is supposed to be, it's hard, it's school, you still have to learn, but with the right people, it's still fun. Ways to prevent bullying. You can be a friend to the person that is being bullied. You can tell an adult if you see someone being bullied. I mean, an administrator, a teacher, a parent, your own parent. It needs to be reported because that person is probably going through a lot of the things that I listed in the previous slides. You can help the person get away from the situation. And one of the biggest things I think is to not give bullying an audience. When somebody is being bullied and there's a big group of people, remember that those bullies want to feel power. They want to feel big. They want to feel like just, I don't know, they want it all. And they don't care who is in their way. They are going to make you feel small because on the inside, they are either hurting or having trouble regulating their emotions. Like I stated before, they love an audience. They love people to watch, and they feed off of that. While I was doing my research, I ran into a website, and it had where other people had shared their experiences on being bullied, and he writes to himself, and it says, "Dear future self." And I had a link in my thing and that you can click on, and it'll pull it up, and he shares his story on being bullied, and he writes it to dear future self, almost as if it was what's happening to him at the time. But he wrote to himself that he was going to get through it, because bullying is really hard, and kids take it into their adult years. It is hard for them to create relationships and bonds with people. They may, right when they start to feel like they're getting close to someone, they want to try and push them away because of the fear of being hurt or let down or not wanted. And so that's really hard for people. And so then on my closing slide listed below, I put a whole bunch of links of help centers and that could help with bullying. There is counseling advice on there, and just really additional bullying services, like for families and the children, or even bullies, because bullies, they obviously need help too. So doing this PowerPoint and this video was really easy for me, and easy for me to relate to, because I have been through this. I've been the victim of being bullied, and it's hard. And it's hard transferring to a new school your freshman year and going from 100 kids in your class to 1,500 kids in your class with a 2-story school, and it's hard. But bullying should definitely be prevented. And I hope that there comes an easier way to stop bullying and to prevent it, not just for the victim's sake, but also for the bully's sake. My name is Callie again, and I'm a human science major, and my PowerPoint was over bullying. Thanks.